This podcast is part of the Batman Universe Podcast Network, hosted by the BatmanUniverse.net. Check out everything related to Batman and the entire Bat family at the BatmanUniverse.net, including news and original content related to comics, movies, television, merchandise, video games, and more. Also, check out some of the other unique podcasts that TBU has to offer. Consider supporting this podcast by becoming a patron on Patreon. Even $1 can go a long way in supporting this content that you enjoy. Look for a link over at the BatmanUniverse.net to offer your support now. And now, on with the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Batman Universe Comic Podcast, Season 14, Episode 4. I'm your host, Ian, and I have with me today...
This is Steph.
And we are, sadly, once again without Theo. Everyone send good thoughts towards him for his hard work on his school. We're very proud of him, but we also definitely miss him. So, do well, Theo. A little bit of news. Solicitations for May dropped last week. Couple of new things, couple of things ending. So, Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke Incorporated crossover called Shadow War is ending in May. So that's kind of cool.
Can we guess that the secret white-headed person in Robin was Deathstroke?
You mean Respawn?
Yeah.
Well, I'm personally thinking he's probably going to be like Rose's secret twin brother or clone.
Oh. Interesting. Will he be a part of Shadow War, do you think?
Yes, he's on the cover for our first couple of issues.
Respawn is?
Yes.
Okay.
It's quite possible he'll get killed off, since that tends to happen to Slade's non-Rose children.
Oh, how many children does he have?
3. One of them is sort of permanently dead. That's his oldest son, Grant. One of them comes back and forth, and that's Joseph, who's the one who tries to be a hero.
Oh, poor Joseph.
Yeah, he's had a hard life. So Shadow War, I'm actually kind of excited about this. I'm a little less excited given how little I've enjoyed the first 3 issues of Williamson's run. But since this is crossing over with Robin, I think that's much more exciting because I've really loved Robin. What do you think, Steph?
What is it going to be about?
So
I don't know how to
the
how to
first
feel about
part of it is going to be about Ra's being killed, and they think that Deathstroke did it. Deathstroke, of course, claims he doesn't, and the solicitations for May hint that there's like a big mastermind of some sort. And it could be Talia, it could be Mother Soul, it could be, someone we haven't thought of at all. They've mentioned Prometheus in the series, so lots of potentials, lots of twists and turns, but like the inciting incident is Ra's is quote-unquote dead, as if that hasn't happened before.
As if that hasn't happened before. He'll be fine.
He will indeed be fine. But yeah, I mean, that means that, Talia and Batman are both going to try and find Deathstroke first so that Batman doesn't want to kill him and Talia wants to kill him.
Do you think, not to be too spoilery, but do you think the end of the newest Robin issue will have anything to do with it?
Oh, definitely. I definitely think that it's going to be a big part of it. I do think that if... we should definitely talk about the newest Robin issue in Greater Gotham, but if what happens in the end of the newest Robin issue, number 11... Or
it's teased to happen at the end of the latest Robin.
Right.
Because it doesn't actually happen.
Well, it's a plan that Damian has. If he succeeds, they are keeping something really big secret. If it doesn't succeed, it seems like it's more likely that it won't succeed, even though I think it should, because I'm tired of the status quo.
Me too.
All right, so that wraps up Shadow War. We don't know for sure what happens next with Batman. Joshua Williamson might continue on Batman, or they may announce a new person in June. Williamson has said that Shadow War is connected to the Dark Crisis that's happening after the death of the Justice League. I personally hope that Shadow War has like a satisfying ending, because I kind of liked how Fear State ended. It felt like it had a pretty decent ending, but also was, of course, open for new stories. I kind of hope for that instead of sort of just going into the next event ending. I'm not as big a fan of that.
No. We'll see.
That's all
I definitely hope that it'll be better than Batman is now. Because it's a little silly right now. Not silly.
It's
poorly constructed.
I love the concept of what Williamson is doing. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the execution, and it's very disappointing because I wanted to like it. Because as I said, the concept is great,
And he's great. Well,
and
he can be great.
He can be just a really good writer. I mean, we've consistently thought Robin was just a good book, a really sometimes great book.
Yeah.
So Suicide Squad and Teen Titans Academy are both ending in May. A lot of titles need to end. Unfortunately, some titles that I probably don't want to end will end too, because DC's putting out way too many books. Something like 80 books. That's ridiculous.
Oof, that's crazy.
A new Black Label miniseries is starting called Batman Fortress. This is a 3-part miniseries in Black Label written by Gary Whitta, who also was one of the co-writers for Star Wars Rogue One, and also illustrated by Derek Robertson, who's most famous for drawing The Boys. What do you think about all these Black Label miniseries for Batman, Steph?
I mean, I think generally I enjoy, not necessarily Black Label, but I enjoy a miniseries, I think, generally a little more than the ongoings, just because you can have a beginning, middle, end and tell the story you want to tell. And especially since Black Label, I guess, now is sort of creator owned, sort of, maybe, kind of, sometimes. It does lend to a little more, I don't know, interesting storytelling. You can kill people off without feeling too bad about it. And you can do things, you can change the status quo without, actually changing it in the comics. So, I don't know. All in all, I enjoy miniseries more. And they end, and I don't have to read them forever and ever and ever and ever.
Well, I guess you're a good person to ask this question then. What do you think about the idea is if instead of doing miniseries, they had Batman Black Label and it just kept going with the same content, but it would be technically an ongoing?
I feel like then they would force things out. Like, it comes out a little more naturally this way. It's like, oh, this creator has this idea, and this is what they're going to do, and it'll come out this time. Whereas if it's something that you force every month or whatever, I think sometimes you end up putting out poo-poo because you just have to get something out because the deadline's coming up. Whereas if it's a story that someone wants to put out whenever, it just comes out, and then there's the story. I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I don't know. I've just had all these theories about Aquaman because they had 3 different miniseries leading into or connected to the new Aquaman ongoing title that's launching this month. And I'm like, why didn't they just... Because it's all the same creative team. It's the same 2 writers who are writing the ongoing who wrote all these miniseries.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
So I don't see why they didn't put those all together.
Right. That makes sense. No, I get what you're saying there.
But yeah, I see what you're saying about Black Label.
If it's that's an ongoing story, though. So,
right.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to always put that in all kinds of different books or minis or whatever. Unless you're really going to hype it up and, like, sell it alongside the other books.
They haven't done, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, in that case, they kind of just get lost.
Yeah.
Like, I've been hunting down books, with certain characters in it, and there's just random issues here and there that didn't really get lumped in with the other stuff, so they're just harder to find, and I don't know.
That's why fans create wikis.
Yes, that's how I survive.
Yes. And it's honestly why we do things like this podcast in our Discord community, because that way people who are looking for things have a resource, and like older fans and fans who have been around. I think that's really something that fans who've been around should sort of think of as something they can do to pay back, to the community. So, the Batman Annual is coming up, and this is going to be by Ed Brisson, not by Joshua Williamson, and it is Ghostmaker leads Batman Incorporated. Now, if you told me this like 4 months ago, I would have been really excited, but after the way Batman Incorporated got used, I'm less excited.
Well, if it's focused on that, it might be fun. Who knows? It's a different writer, different, I don't know, setup. Maybe something better is coming. I don't know, Ian.
I mean, that's the problem, is it feels like we're about to have either we're about to just keep going with Josh Williamson, or we're going to have a big change, and we have no idea. Like, we just don't know what's going to happen.
Don't know. How long is the current arc? Well, the Batman Inc. arc, how many more issues of that do we have?
Just next week.
What?
Yep, it's
okay, yeah, then I'm not excited. I was giving them a chance to, improve the character I don't know.
Yeah, I think another problem is I think that this idea is just too big for 3 issues.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 4 issues. It's 4 issues, but it still feels too big for 4 issues.
Well, I don't think it seems too big. I don't think they made the best of the time that they had.
True. They spent like all of the first issue just getting Batman out of Gotham, and I don't think they needed to. They could have gotten him out of Gotham in like less than 10 pages and then just been like, and here's Batman Inc. And he could have like met one of them and he'd be like babbling. Like, there's so many ways he could have gotten the characters.
And most of issue 2 was just a pissing contest between Lex and Bruce.
Yes. With the wine on the ground.
It's just, no, it's just bad. And then I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. We're not talking about Batman today. We're talking about Detective Comics.
Correct. One Dark Night is ending by Jock. That's written and illustrated. I can't remember if the second issue is out or not.
It is. I read it. It was very good.
Oh, okay.
That's the Catwoman, right? Isn't it? Oh, no. Oh, no. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, it's not out yet.
I didn't think so. Because this is May.
I was thinking of the other Batman one.
The Night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I think that's in Greater Gotham. Yes, it is. I'm excited to talk about that one.
Me too.
Flashpoint Beyond is getting 3 issues in May. This is ridiculous. They're churning through this book.
What is that one again? I know we talked about it.
That's Jeff Johns and Jeremy Adams and Jim Sheridan. They're doing a sequel to Flashpoint 10 years later.
Oh. Never mind. I don't know what that is. Oh, I was thinking of the spin-off. I was thinking of the, what's it called? The White Knight universe.
Oh, yeah. No, that's starting next month, I think.
Okay.
The reason I mentioned Flashpoint Beyond is because, of course, Flashpoint Batman's back.
Oh, yeah.
The Flash movie prequel with Michael Keaton as Batman, the comic, I thought it was actually just a one-shot, but it's actually a 3-issue miniseries, so that's kind of cool.
Ooh.
Jurassic Lead with Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman all being dinosaurs is coming out.
Gosh.
That sounds hilarious. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
No,
yes. Dinosaurs are great.
It's like a little kid
playing with action figures, yes.
Playing, like putting capes on his dinosaur toy.
That sounds awesome. And lastly, Damian is getting a DC vs. Vampires one-shot. So the main series is going on break for a month, and they're doing a one-shot with Damian on the cover. So I assume that Damian's going to be a big part of it.
I don't know. We'll see. I think I've given that book a try every now and then I regret doing that.
Quite honestly, I just watched the videos from Casually Comics because she does really hilarious voices for the characters.
Okay, I'll do that. I want to like it. I just...
All right, with our news out of the way, let's get to our review of Detective Comics 10-53. This is written by Marco Tamaki and art by Max Raynor. We begin inside a packed Gotham City courthouse as defense attorney enters a plea of not guilty on behalf of a client dressed as Little Bo Peep. Bail is set via a call to the defense attorney. Dr. Ware agrees to cover bail for all 6 defendants. Nevertheless, 3 of the defendants sit on the courthouse steps and contemplate murdering Dr. Ware. The scene switches to a conversation between Dr. Ware and Penguin. Dr. Ware complains to Penguin that he is not responsible for the security breach that resulted in the party crashers' arrests. Penguin reminds Dr. Ware that he is owed money and states that he is happy to extend a loan on his standard terms. Dr. Ware leaves and is accosted by several party crashers armed with stun guns. They are angry about their arrest, the interference from the Bat family, and interruptions in the supply of Numb, their drug. After threats and electric shocks, they begin walking away. Dr. Ware calls them back by informing them of another problem he has learned about via text message. A disgruntled former employee who witnessed an incident plans to go to the press. A party crasher with an axe hides in the witness's apartment. She avoids the initial assault and flees outside. Batgirl swoops in for the rescue. The witness flees. Later, Batwoman asks Deb Donovan for information about the witness and compares notes in the cave with Oracle. They discuss the fact that Mayor Nakano is still backing the Arkham Tower project. Inside the tower, Nightwing is still posing as an orderly as he investigates. He finds Nero 19 in the ICU and listens as Nero murmurs his hold is breaking. He visits Huntress and tries to help her recollect her movements and actions. She struggles to remember. Under the bed, he discovers his hold is breaking, written in blood. Back in the cave, Oracle and Batwoman discuss which rogues might use mind control powers. Batman tells Nightwing she is sending Cass for backup. Nightwing makes his way to the top of Arkham Tower as a party crasher advances on the cave via the sewers. Nightwing breaks into Dr. Ocean's office and finds Psycho Pirate, who freezes him with his mind control powers, while the party crashers assault the Batgirls, Batwoman, and Oracle in the cave. So, we have an issue. What would you say the key turn or event or piece of information in this issue is?
Well, the Bat family knows that Psycho Pirate is the baddie, one of the baddies, and the party crashers have started to kill people, and now the Bat family needs to, I don't know, they don't evacuate, but, something happens to them.
Part of the problem, because I tend to read these next to each other or think of them as a big lump, so I'm trying to sort of think of them in chunks or chapters. Mm-hmm. And so I'd say definitely the ending where Nightwing bursts in on Psycho Pirate. That's a big event.
Sure.
And I'd say that the rising tensions on Dr. Ware from Penguin and the Party Crashers are the other big thing that we see. The Bat Family, I don't think the Bat Family as a whole really learns a whole lot. Nightwing, of course, does, but the rest of the Bat Family is kind of pinned down by the Party Crashers in this one.
Oh, okay. In this one, that's true. I guess I forget Dr. Ware matters because
we know he's dead.
Because he's dead. So it's like, well, who cares if he's indebted to the Penguin? He's going to be dead in 12 hours.
That's an interesting thing. So I don't think we're supposed to sympathize with Dr. Ware. Would you agree?
No, he's literally dug his own grave.
Right, and he's just kind of a pathetic con man who's kind of just mad and small. He's not like the boy in the Backups, for example, who has a lot of very sympathetic encounters.
Yeah, for sure. No, Dr. Ware, every pile of poop that he steps in, he put there. There's no sympathy.
Did he poop it out?
Well, he got it from somewhere. I'm not saying where he got it from.
Okay.
Some of it's his own.
Yeah, this issue, just over the halfway point, feels like everything's sort of building. So, we've had, these short intervals of extreme violence, and they seem to be, increasing. The tempo seems to be picking up a bit.
For sure. It does seem like they're still detecting and mystery and stuff going on, but it's definitely starting to build up to the crescendo. The tension is getting pretty thick, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, we've got so many pieces of tension. We've got, what the Bat family is facing with the Party Crasher. We've got Nightwing and Dr. Meridian in the tower where we know things are going to go really wrong. We have Penguin and Party Crashers on Ware, and even though we don't like him, that's a lot of tension because, he's the key to everything running. And when he leaves...
And people we like are in the way of Ware right now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Huntress particularly. She's very vulnerable right now. So, yeah. To me, this issue sort of is the repetition of his hold is breaking is a really cool thing because it builds that tension and it has sort of a poetry to it. So I really like that.
It's interesting that, I know we kind of talked about it last time, I think, about whether or not they know who he is. And the fact that Nero and Huntress are saying the same phrase makes me think that something that's just subconscious to them. Maybe it's the same as I'm okay or I'm good or whatever it was they were saying.
Yeah, I'm
happy. I feel great.
I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel good.
Is that maybe when Psycho Pirate gets weak, he is unconsciously sending the message, I'm getting weak. And maybe they're interpreting that as his hold. Or maybe he's sending out the signal, my hold is breaking. and then they're hearing that, and that's why they're repeating it. But only
I think that they have a sense of his mind. Like, his mind control has, like, a flavor of his personality to it.
Yeah. So I don't think they know who he is.
But I think they do have a sense of him. Like, they have a sense that he's frantic and increasingly losing his grip. Yeah, so let's move on to our backup summary. The boy plays cards in Arkham Asylum with the rogues, including Clayface and Solomon Grundy. A voice over the loudspeaker announces Liberation Day, and the rogues prepare to flee. The boy seems to indicate he wants to stay. He continues to play with his cards until he is alone. Bane arrives and indicates his surprise that anyone remains. Bane tells the boy that it is time to leave, and Arkham Asylum is really a place to keep broken things, but that things that break can heal and be reborn in stronger form. The boy tells Bane that he hates Batman, and Bane tells him to go and remake himself. The boy leaves with a gun, but is subsequently disarmed by a guard who is about to shoot him. Zsasz murders the guard and prepares to eviscerate the boy until he is stopped by Bane. Bane instructs him to fight unarmed and takes out Zsasz before he can do lasting harm to the boy. Bane instructs the boy that he can only ever completely lose one fight. If you rise after every defeat, you cannot truly lose. The boy leaves Arkham Asylum and searches the streets for Elliot until he finds him. He embraces his friend and asks for help getting out of Gotham. So, we're in Nightfall now, which I think is very exciting, because previously we had encounters with Dick and Jason, so we had a sense of passing time. But now we have one of the most famous events in Batman history, and the boy is living through it. How do you think Bane appears, and what do you think about the themes of Bane's advice or his lessons to the boy?
That encounter was very interesting, because the boy has nowhere to go, and that's why the boy is just sitting there. Like, he's not interested in going anywhere, because out there is just Batman, and he hates Batman.
And the villains. He doesn't really like the villains either.
That's true. I mean, he was probably made a few friends, but yeah, overall, he's just not interested.
I mean, Penguin's definitely going to kill him if he finds him, and Scarecrow's abused him, so...
Yeah. So this poor kid is just so lost. He doesn't even want the freedom that's being offered to him. It was very interesting, exchange. And Bane, I'll be honest, I've never read Nightfall. I don't know what Bane's real motivation is here. I mean, obviously, I kind of do later, but Bane is such an interesting character. Like, he's not just pure evil. Like, he's got thoughts and feelings about things, and the fact that he's trying to encourage and help the boy is very interesting.
Well,
but still trying to get the boy to help the boy strengthen up.
One of the things that Chuck Dixon has always said about Bane is that Bane views himself as an innocent because he was born in prison. And the corrupt military junta who controlled Santa Prisca condemned him to serve his father's sentence. So he has literally been one of the most horrifically abused victims in the world since he was born. And that's why he's been so angry. That's why he views himself as a liberator of Santa Prisca, because he overthrew that government and took over, and he thinks he's doing it for the good of the people. So here you see that same attitude. He thinks that Batman is like a tyrant, like the people who abused him in prison. And so he wants to break Batman and liberate Gotham. And he sees that teaching the boy is part of that. So I thought it was really complicated. And I think it's also really cool because you can think about the lessons of Bane with regards to Batman himself. Because, Batman himself in Nightfall had his back broken and had to be reborn. He's seemed to die in R.I.P. and he came back from that. So this theme of death and rebirth is applicable to so many things, not just to Bane. I really like that kind of poetic resonance that it has. So, let's give our ratings for Detective Comics 1053 out of 5 taser guns.
We're attacking taser guns. Ha 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 ha. I just love this series so much. And the tension is just built so well. The art is fantastic. And we get a full shot of Nightwing
The important things in life.
The important things in life. And the girls look great, too. Can I say 4? I kind of want to say 4. I'm going to say 4. Also, the back.
I don't know why you're asking me for permission. I've never said you have to choose.
No, I need validation. 4.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 3.75.
I was going to do that, but then I wanted to give it a 4. Okay. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine.
On the website, Daniel gave it a 3.5, which gives us an average score of 3.75 and no mode. And let's move on to Detective Comics 1054.
Detective Comics number 1054, written by Mariko Tamaki and art by Max Rainer. As pedestrians walk the streets of Gotham, they hear the sounds of pitched battle between the Party Crashers and the Bat Family underground. Steph, one of the Batgirls, takes the lead in taking down the gang, while Babs tries to locate Nightwing. Batwoman organizes the team as Nakano panics about the opening of Arkham Tower. Dr. Ware is threatened by Penguin for the missing drugs, while Psycho Pirate holds Nightwing captive with his powers. Another group of Party Crashers heads to Arkham Tower, hoping to get their money from Dr. Ware. Dr. Meridian walks through the tower, hearing patients chant, "His hold is breaking," as Nakano prepares to bring his wife to the opening as a patient. Steph infiltrates the crowd as Dr. Ware begins his speech, but Psycho Pirate loses his grip on Nightwing as the Party Crashers enter the building. And the inmates start murdering staff just as Batwoman, trying to convince Nakano of what the Bat Family has uncovered, receiving word from Steph that the tower is under attack as she takes on the Party Crashers alone in civilian gear. Huntress, Koyuki Nakano, Anna Vol'jin, and Mr. Freeze all start planning, while Siphon captures Dr. Ware and prepares to kill him.
So, this is the inflection point, I would say. What do you think?
What do you mean by inflection point?
Well, it's the tipping over from the tension mounting to it spilling over into the direct assault.
Yes. Yes, this is the beginning of the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we've entered what I would say is probably Act 3.
Yeah.
Because this is issue 9 of 12. So we are... Or is it? No, this is 8.
Well, hopefully the last issue will be some kind of epilogue.
That's a good point. But, so... all hell has broken loose at Arkham Tower, and I think it's really cool how all the pieces are moving to be in the same place. Now, one of the criticisms I've read of what's going on is that it feels like the Bat Family is not really contributing much. But I would disagree. I think that the Bat Family is being a good detective. Like, they're hunting down clues, they're doing the work, they're pounding the pavement, and because they've done that, Steph and Dick are in position when everything goes wrong. Now, Batwoman and Cass aren't there, but they at least have people on the ground. And they wouldn't have that unless they'd been following the clues, you know? So it feels like the Bat Family's taken action, and by doing so, they're in the right place when they need to be.
And this also wasn't like bad guy does bad things. This is supposed to be a legitimate enterprise. This has the backing of the mayor, who is not corrupt. This is supposed to be a personal thing for the mayor that he wants to work. Like, this isn't saying, oh, this is obviously Bad News Bears. This is a guy who's been very good at covering his tracks. Like, the Bat Family's had to do a lot of work. And like you said, they got their people on inside. Kate was working there for a little while. She was a person on the inside. They have Meridian inside, even though she's not, combat. She's still one of their people. And Huntress is there. Like, I feel like there's enough personal threads that you couldn't just say, go in guns a-blazing, or I guess batarangs a-blazing, and take them down, because you needed proof. Or we needed to see that something was really wrong before the Bat Family could intervene. Like, I don't know. I just can't think of it too many times where it was like, let's, as vigilantes, take down Arkham. Like, how many times has that really happened? I don't know.
Well, I look at another mystery series that was weekly, which is Batman Eternal, and I'm about to say something critical of Batman Eternal, so I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Batman Eternal is one of my favorite comics. I love it. But as a mystery, it's very flawed because Batman spends the entire time chasing down one bad guy after another and accusing him of being the big bad guy. And then at the end, the main big bad guy just sort of walks up and says, "Aha, it's me, and this is my plan." And Batman didn't actually figure anything out. In this one, it feels to me like they actually were figuring things out. Like, they're not just going to stumble on the plan and be like, "Oh, the bad guy's going to monologue to me." Like, at this point, they don't need to figure anything else out. They're in position, and they just need to save everyone they can and take down the villains. Sort of an art question, Max Raynor draws Babs wearing the exact same outfit that Jorge Jimenez drew, the sweater with the vest over it. Do you think it's a good idea to have civilian clothes be consistent from book to book, or do you think that makes it feel like everyone just has one pair of clothes?
I think it's fine for her to have her glasses and her flowy hair and her vest or whatever. Maybe she's really into vests lately. What is she wearing? Hold on, I'm having trouble finding her.
Well, it's the black sweater and then like a green vest over it and tan sort of jean capri type things.
Yeah, maybe that's just the style she likes right now. I mean, I did that for a while.
Well, I think it's a nice look, and it definitely has a sexy without being like really over the top look to it. But I just think it's interesting because it's a very distinctive Jorge Jimenez design. Like,
maybe that's her Oracle outfit.
I like it better than her off-the-shoulder weird green coverall thing.
Yeah.
That was a weird suit.
It's her Oracle. She wants to still feel included into the team, so that's her outfit.
I am curious to see if Oracle, if she dons her Batgirl costume and heads into the tower herself. You'd think that given that she knows that Nightwing's in trouble, she might feel inspired to try and rescue him.
She knows he'll be fine.
Okay.
She's needed at the computer. She's the Google.
Okay. I do hope that she's able to figure out like some planning, because it'd be great to have her like come in at a crucial moment and have some tactical advice that really turns the battle in her favor.
That would be cool.
I think I really loved seeing Steph infiltrate and then report in as Batgirl. I thought that was a really cool moment.
That was very cool. And then she kicks people in the head.
And she kicks like 4 people at once in the head. It's awesome. And then Nightwing, of course, taking on Psycho Pirate. This was a really intense issue. And I felt such a sense of like, we're here when, the hold broke and everyone starts murdering everyone. What do you think is going to happen with Koyuki?
I don't know. No, she was one of the reasons I really wanted to like this. I mean, I do like it, but like she was the storyline I was invested in at the beginning.
It kind of just restarted here.
It really did. She's probably going to get worse. I mean, if you have depression and then you're in a traumatic event, you're just not going to get better. You're just going to have to go to therapy more often. Ah, poor woman. She's going to get worse. Yeah. Nakano is either going to blame himself or blame the Bat family.
Well, it's interesting because, he was listening to Batwoman. Like, so he's sort of... Yeah. It's nice to see that he's turned that corner with the Bat family and he's willing to listen. But, like, this could set them back quite a bit.
It could.
Even though it's really not their fault. They've been doing everything they can.
They've been trying to get him to, like... Yeah.
That's the thing about the fact that this is structured around a con. That so much is hidden by, literal superpowers that, like, what can these normal humans do that they're just following the clues, but they're up against someone who has enormous psychic powers and a very clever con man. All right, let's move on to our backup.
House of Gotham, written by Matthew Rosenberg, art by Fernando Blanco. In the Batcave, a paraplegic Bruce watches the city burn after Bane's attack, while Tim begs to help. The boy learns that Bane killed Batman and thinks it might be safe to stay in Gotham after all. He sees Anarchy and Robin, who is now Tim Drake, attacking the latter, telling him that the last Robin hurt him and sent him to Arkham. However, before Tim can convince the boy to trust him, Asbats drops in and brutally shoots the boy full of shurikens before driving him off a bridge, declaring he will clean up the city over the boy's broken body. I hate Asbats so much.
But he's so cool.
He's not not cool. He's awful.
He is awful, but he's awfully cool.
I hate him even more.
So how do you feel about this 2-issue dipping into the events of Nightfall?
Well, first of all, it makes me upset because it means I lose. And the Robins have, in fact, been changing. And this boy is somehow not aging all that much, while the Robins have been aging out of the Robin program. So, what the heck?
Well, remember that Jason, I think, was only Robin for a year or two.
I was about to say Jason didn't age out. He
died
left.
out.
He died out. Oh, gosh.
This does make me wonder if they are going with the original Dick was 10 when he started at Robin, or the New 52 Dick was 15 when he started as Robin.
I don't know. I think it's very interesting. I love the tie-in to the Bat history of it. It took me actually a minute because I haven't read it, but I am familiar with, Bruce getting paralyzed by Bane and all that whole thing. So it was very interesting seeing that get tied into the story and how the boy's poor psyche is being developed. But yeah, other than the timeline not making sense, it's fine. I enjoyed it. I'm willing to just suspend my belief. Sure, somehow this boy has aged enough and is still a child, but is still able to. The fact that they keep putting him in Arkham just really irks me. Like, maybe he is just a really short adult, but then so would Elliot.
Yeah.
Although Elliot looks like he's aged enough.
Because Tim mentions that the boy is older than him, and Tim was between 14 and 15 when he was, I guess maybe he was 13 to 14 when he started being Robin. But that would mean the boy is probably 14 to 15 at this point, and they don't really draw him being that age. To me, I'm not great at gauging age, but he still looks prepubescent in these pictures.
A little bit, but it's more that he doesn't look that different.
Yeah,
like, they don't even change his hair.
They changed Elliot's hair a lot.
Yeah. Like, I just really feel like they should have done something. I think he's wearing the same clothing. Like, they just really need to do something to show time has passed, other than the Robins changing.
Yes, I agree that the boy's appearance is a little puzzling to me. But I like the fact that he's sort of dipping through Batman history. Which leads to my next question. What events do you think we'll see in the last 4 issues? Do you think that we'll see Cataclysm, No Man's Land, Bruce Wayne Murderer or Fugitive, Hush, 1 year later, Batman R.I.P., The Court of Owls? Like, what do you think we'll see?
What's the Earthquake one again?
Cataclysm.
Cataclysm. I'd be interested to see Cataclysm. I don't know. Kind of... I mean, I have to assume that Joker's going to come back again somehow.
Well, you could see maybe Endgame or Death of the Family.
Yeah. Like, that would be a good bookend for this kid's poor brain. Oh, his poor soul. I feel so bad for him. Asbats. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the picture with the boy with the shuriken in his leg, and he's on the ground.
Asbats is so mean to this guy. Like, what is this guy's problem?
It's just a little boy. I guess he's not. He's a teenager. But still,
he's not like Elliot. I mean, I could understand Asbats being like, Elliot's a punk, but this boy is just like...
But you still... No! Vigilante justice for being a punk is not getting shanked in the leg. I'm sorry. I don't care.
And thrown off a bridge.
Ugh! Anyway.
Well, I mean, this is, I would say, an accurate portrayal of Asbat's brutality. I mean, that's kind of the point, is he was...
I'm not, like, hating it. I don't hate the story at all. I just really hate Asbat's. And so this
I know what you're saying.
Like, as a child, as thinking about being Elliot, this is not going to help him get over his hate for Batman in any way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's why they chose this story on purpose, is that this is a really good way to sort of further warp his perspective of Batman.
Yeah. Very well done.
I loved it. This is quite possibly my favorite issue so far. I just really enjoyed it. Even though I really loved that issue where, Huntress...
kicked butt and took names?
No, the backstory where you see No Man's Land. Actually, that actually makes me think that they might skip past No Man's Land because they've already touched it. But I don't know. I mean... It's totally up to the writing team. I'm just curious to see how this functions, because going through the history of Batman in this way, I'm really excited. I'm really enjoying it. All right, let's get our ratings out of 5 for Detective Comics. Sorry. Let's get our ratings out of 5 brutal Azrael shurikens.
I knew you were gonna do that. Gosh, 4. I was gonna say 4.5, but I think I'll wait for another issue to do 4.5. This was a 4 as well. I just really liked it.
I'm giving this a 4 because for me it definitely did improve a little bit. Just so stellar on all parts and everything working together in a story. And you can just see the pieces moving, but you also, like, you can see the construction, but you also, like, I'm engaged with the characters. I'm engaged with Steph and Helena and Dick as they're fighting this thing, and I'm engaged with the boy as he encounters these horrors of Asbats, and, like, he can't trust Robin because the last Robin was brutal, you know? Like, I get really engaged, but I also really love seeing the way the pieces are being put together. So that gives us an average and a mode of 4. That's a cool one. Ha ha ha. All right, so let's move on to our Greater Gotham. Again, our ratings are thumbs up, thumbs down, neutral, or abstain. So let's start with Nightwing 89.
Thumbs up!
I'd say a bit neutral. It feels like it's kind of stuck. Like, yeah, neutral.
Yeah.
Batman, The Knight, number 2.
Thumbs up, and that was not Catwoman, and that was not Selina. You misled me.
I said it was fake Catwoman.
Oh, you still misled me.
It was great,
Although
though.
it explains how he develops an attraction for
sexy cat burglars. Yes, that's a thumbs up for me too. Carmine Di Domenico's
Carmine Di Giandomenico
art is great, and the story is really fun.
And I liked it a lot better than the first one. I mean, I liked
Yes,
the first one.
the first
I
one
could
was
see the
fine.
promise in the first one.
But this one definitely
one.
feels like it's moving forward. It's exciting.
Yeah, it was.
Robin's number 4.
Thumbs up, but it's getting weird.
It is very weird. I kind of really wish that Tim Seeley had like a full 12 issues, because there's so many ideas in this comic that I think he could really dive deeper into each Robin and each Robin's relationships with each other. Robin, number 11.
Thumbs up.
Of course, thumbs up, yes.
Thumbs up. Oh, should we talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. This is the end of
okay.
the Lazarus Tournament arc.
And even though there wasn't much chemistry or build-up, he starts making out with what's-her-butt.
There was totally
Flatline.
chemistry. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't.
They shared manga.
Whatever. But
That's
it was
like the
still
most
cute.
romantic thing ever.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to hate on it, but it was not my favorite. But then Robin takes some Lazarus resin and takes it to the grave of Alfred Pennyworth in Gotham. Oh my goodness.
Now, I, as I said, I think that they should have this happen. I think Alfred needs to come back, and I think it should happen now.
So they've already established in universe, in Z-Force,
Right.
Task Force Z, that if you apply someone with enough of the stuff, they'll be fine. Like, they are back to normal. And so in Task Force Z, they're only giving them enough to kind of have them follow orders and not fall apart. But that's getting interesting in that book, too, because apparently it doesn't work as well as they think it does.
But don't they have to, continually give them a supply?
I was under the impression that once they give, a full dose, you're good. You're human again.
Oh, okay.
That's how I understood it. Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly, and I don't know if Robin knows any of that, but I can imagine he'd have to get together with Jason to kind of talk about it and figure things out. But who knows?
Catwoman
But it's
number
so
40.
good. Thumbs up. I like it.
Still thumbs down for me.
I don't know. I'm really digging it. I'm reading a lot of unhealthy webtoons right now, and so it's just really clicking in my reading. I just like it. I'm enjoying it. I don't think she's stupid.
Harley Quinn number 12.
No, that was cute. Oh, that was the bromance between Harley and Kevin. Yeah, that was really sweet. I like that one. So thumbs up.
I'm going to say neutral. I feel like we've lost a bit of steam, but it's definitely a good book still.
Yeah.
Task Force Z, number 5.
Thumbs up, but I'm a little confused, but I think I'm supposed to be, because I think Jason is confused.
Yes. But also thumbs up. I'm really enjoying Jason grappling with all the people who are trying to manipulate him.
And now kill him.
Of course, as always. Batman vs. Bigby, number 6, the end of the series.
Ugh. I'm so glad this is over. It's not unreadable. It's just blah. This is something you would give to, like, a kid who is just getting into Batman and doesn't have the capacity to understand big things and multiple storylines and complex storylines. Is just kind of there.
So is that a neutral?
It's a neutral. It's a neutral. I was about to say, yeah, it's a neutral for me.
It's thumbs up for me. I still like it. But of course, I've read all 150 issues of Fables, so.
Yeah, so it seemed like there was a lot of things in there that I didn't quite pick up on, because I've only ever played the
Wolf Among
game.
Us.
The Wolf Among Us. Yeah, that's the only thing I've done. So I really wanted to just enjoy this, but I just didn't get into it. And the art wasn't my favorite. I think that didn't help. It didn't do me any favors, was the art.
And that rounds up our Greater Gotham. We don't have any listener feedback, but I know that a lot of our regular listeners are behind on comics. So I just want to let people know, if you want to comment on an older episode, please do so. Send us an email or drop us a line in Discord. We're always happy to read things, even if it's not up to date, because we're here for the conversation, not for, like, you have to be up to date.
For sure.
But do send us an email, because we don't always check the YouTube for, like, comments from many years ago.
Whether you are a first-time TBU Comics podcast listener, a 13-year veteran, or anything in between, we'd love to hear what you think about this episode or any of the comics we discussed. Send emails to tbu@thebatmanuniverse.net. Join our Discord server linked at thebatmanuniverse.net. Send us a tweet at TBU_comics. Or, if you're a patron, leave us a comment on our Patreon page. We'd also love it if you left us a review on iTunes. We'd love to read your comments on the next episode of the Batman Universe Comics Podcast. Batman may claim he works alone, but we know that he needs the Bat Family. Join the TBU Bat Family and let us know what you think.
I do want to read much appreciate all of you joining us. You help us to keep all those episodes up that you can listen to at any time on any of your devices or services. And without you, we couldn't have these conversations, so thank you. And that brings us to the end of our podcast. I look forward to next month, where we have the end of Shadows of the Bat in 4 more exciting issues, and the end of Batman, and sadly, the end of the Maps backup. But it'll be great. So, until next time, I've been Ian.
This is Steph.
And we'll see you next time.